Here's your 5 tips for unrepresented litigants. Navigating the law can be difficult, to say the least, but doing it on your own is even more impossible. The courtroom's daunting. You have self-represented folks who have no confidence. They don't know what they're asking for. It can leave a lot of room for error if you're not on top of things. Here at Colorado Lawyer Team, we want to take care of all of our clients, but also help bridge the access to justice gap. Here are 5 tips for unrepresented litigants that can help clear up some of the uncertainty around your legal journey. First off, what is an unrepresented litigant, and how do you know if you are one? Well, generally, it's a self-represented person who doesn't have a lawyer. People also use the word pro se party, and these are unrepresented folks who either can't afford attorneys, they don't qualify for the public defender in criminal cases, or they're in an area where there are not attorneys available to them. We do a lot of work in rural areas, and this is something we see a lot. If any of this seems to describe you, and you've heard other people describe you as unrepresented, self-represented, or pro se, then that's who we're talking to right now. How do you represent yourself successfully without using legal counsel? The first tip that we establish a strong foundation for your case is that you don't talk about the facts of the case with anyone. Well, in regards to criminal case, it seems rather obvious, but if you post anything on social media or anything's documented in text or Snapchat messages between you and another individual, those can be used as evidence against you with the prosecutor. And it's the best plan to just play it safe and keep your trap shut, and only trust yourself with information about your case. We also tell you not to bring third parties into conversations with your lawyers specifically because of that issue. On the other hand, if your case is in a civil case, sometimes you can be in a little bit of difficulty because there's been a settlement and there's usually likely to be a confidentiality clause. If you're texting, talking, posting on social media, what you disclose after the fact can sometimes still be considered violations of protection order or violations of the confidentiality agreement. In civil cases, in family law cases, it's even more important because everything you say and do is basically going to be cataloged by the opposing party. One of the reasons that we use talking parents is to have a downloadable transcript of every bit of conversation between opposing party and our client. So when in doubt, it's better safe than sorry. Just don't talk about the facts of the case at all. Be cautious, keep information to yourself, relay it to an attorney later, and when in doubt, ask if it's appropriate to have that conversation. Another tip to know when representing yourself is that it is all right to meet with the DA in criminal court. You can discuss resolving the case as long as you abide by tip number 1. If you're going to resolve your case, though, and negotiate with them, you shouldn't be afraid to meet with the district attorney's office in order to do so, especially on minor cases. Just remember, you shouldn't disclose any facts about your case that aren't absolutely necessary, and certainly don't argue about the facts that are in the police reports. It's not a good look. Along with these 2 tips, the third tip we want to give you is to keep a list of witness contact information and update it regularly. Since you're representing yourself in your case, you have to be in charge of who your witnesses are and how you can get in contact with them. A benefit to this is that pro se litigants are actually able to do their own witness prep. Keeping an updated list of witnesses will be beneficial if your case goes to trial, since you won't have an attorney to subpoena them for you. But also, even if you get an attorney at a later date, it's important to have accurate contact information for our investigators. A 4th piece of advice is to draft a detailed timeline soon after the alleged events have occurred. You can reference it later. We all know that memory can be unreliable, especially a year or 2 after a case occurs. Creating a hard copy, listing events and dates and details will prevent any gaps from forming in your retelling of the event. That is a confidential hard copy, so please do not share it with anyone else. You may want to consider just putting it on your phone, even recording reminders to yourself when you remember things about the offense or what's going on in your family law cases. Staying on top of matters like this will be extremely beneficial down the line, especially if it goes on for months or years. The fifth and final tip for being an unrepresented litigant is to consider collecting media evidence and store it in a secure location. Don't just store it on your phone. Phones die, they don't get backed up, that sort of stuff. You need to put any media that you want to reference or any evidence that you're using on the cloud or on an external hard drive or both. If you lose your phone, that way you still have it. Since you're pro se, you won't have access to an attorney's file, an investigator file, or legal assistants who can do these things for you, find pieces of information. It's up to you to gather and store evidence that will be critical to your case. Examples of locations to store this, like I said, were hard drive or flash drives. If it's stored safely, consider putting a password on your phone or password on any electronic devices used to keep confidential information secure. If you keep information like this just on your phone, you're risking it being destroyed, stolen, lost, or having its battery die at a critical moment. In this case, it's just like the other tips. It's better safe than sorry to have that backed up. Overall, there's many things an unrepresented litigant can do on their own, but the most important are keep the facts to yourself, know it's okay to meet with the DA, keep an updated list of witnesses, create a detailed timeline of events, and collect and back up securely all the media and other evidence you'd like to present in your case. An important aspect of being self-represented is to do your research also, since you don't have a legal team to do it for you. I guess I'm giving you 6 tips. Although it may be daunting to navigate the legal system on your own, with some advice and a productive attitude, it's certainly not impossible. Good luck to you.